guess I'm probably live. Let's check that on my phone. And I'd certainly like to keep this chat on top. I'm slightly worried that this won't... this is cutting off a lot of the display. Ah, there we go. You can tell I'm an expert streamer. There we are. Oop. Lovely infinite scroll. So, I should be live, I think. Looking on my own YouTube channel to see if I'm actually streaming right now. Yeah, there I am. Haha. Well, hello, nobody. So, yes, as I said in the description, other people have already done translation of this Xi'an transmission, so I am not anticipating a huge outpouring of enthusiasm for this particular stream, and but it's particularly because I haven't actually been doing any YouTube stuff in the last year or so. It's largely just because of work, and I have a new job, and it's very, very fun, but very, very tiring. I'm thinking that I might just sort of chat for a bit if anyone turns up, and then get going with it. So I'm just posting to my socials, because you can tell I'm totally professional and prepared with this. I wasn't even aware that you know, they only announced on Monday that they were going to be doing a stream of this, and I've had all of about 10 minutes of downtime since then, so not a lot of time to get stuff planned and set up, but hopefully enough for my own enjoyment. I'm going to get a thumbnail, like a good thumbnail for this. Let's copy the link into a few places. So let's pop that on the... Let's pop it on a few places. Law Nerds. Imagine that mods might kick it off a few places, but what are we going to do? Chris, hi Chris. I wonder if that's Chris. Well, hello Chris. Thanks for joining in. While I'm posting to my socials, have you got any questions about this lesson so far? Have you had a go at yourself? So I'm just frantically trying to promote this so that other people know it's happening. You know what? Let's just get started. As I say, this is going to be mostly for my own enjoyment, and I'm just babbling to myself. So I'm extremely rusty with Xi'an, so I'm going to have to get some other tools open. I've got Chris Harrow's very, very good dictionary app here, which once I've translated it to SRX, I can post this in. It'll give me the translations of all the words. It's not like quite a auto-translate, because you still have to unpick the grammar, but it is useful. This entire stream could be a complete embarrassment if I literally can't remember how to do Xi'an, but it should be okay. But I will get the alphabet open. Where is that? That's Space Industries in the forum somewhere. Oops. just in case I ever... Yeah, so just in case I literally get stuck on letters, because that's how out of practice I am, there is a really good alphabet-only sheet here. I might even have to get the whole language document up at points because of this. But let's get started. So, let's get my Xenolinguistics hotkeys as well, so I can do my proper letters. Okay, so we got. So I'm just doing the synth layer to SRX first, and I might make a few mistakes along the way because what they are, but should be alright. So now Xi'an. So what we've got so far is Swa Enui Sao Xi'an, which means people of the Xi'an Empire. That's another thing I need to open is the new words. Moa Yai Pia Piasi no Piacino Threat. That is cute. So I already heard through the grapevine that there's going to be some warning about Xenothreat, which is so I'm not going to be surprising anyone with that revelation. But I really love how Britain's done. It's basically Xenothreat. Piacino-threat. So this character here, the thl, which is also kind of close to thl sound, is I just find it kind of cute. And then there's this T with a 0. That's kind of how you can, even if you didn't know the sounds, this 0 only appears in like loan words. I think also, this is the rare form of thl. Now, I'm just going to theorise something here, which maybe I will be corrected on when I'm. I want to give you a theory. So, this character that's being used in the word Xenothreat uses the rare form of THL. Now, the common form of THL is really commonly used in the word proper and good and like Slayer, poor Slayer, good and proper. It's almost like they're choosing to use the THL letter that is not the one about being good and proper. So it's almost like they're going, we can't sully this letter that is in all these words about being good by putting it in the name of these pirates. Just a theory, but I think it's a cute theory. Yi yo. Oh. Is that Swa? This is where my rustiness is kicking in with some of these more obscure corner forms, or not obscure but less used. I always been really bad at the U vowel corner forms because a lot of them really differ by a very small amount. So I think it's UE. Yes, UE, but you can see how UE is only very slightly different. Sorry, just disconnected there. My internet is not that reliable. I was just talking about how you don't actually need to know every single letter to know every single letter. But in that instance, I was those ones I find harder to interpret because it is still supposed to be that vertical in 2 lines, but the 2 lines are sort of moved so they're no longer in the same place. So it was Sweeth say human. Is that right? Yeah. It's more like human. So it's going to be something about something about Xi'an threats and pirates, and so this will show us which words are not in there. So Yiyosweeth is it supposed to be Yiyasweeth? Yeah, sorry, it's Yiyasweeth. So I made a mistake there. Identified the wrong letter. Hi Darj, Kelsar, Mr. Snaps, Runix, thanks everyone for joining me for translating a letter you probably already know all the words of. Chris has already got ahead of everyone by already adding the words to the dictionary, so hopefully I won't have to then have the words open. And was I right with Nurse? Yeah, South Xi'an, yeah, okay. So, what this says is, so I'm using Chris's dictionary lookup because it's a really efficient way to do the look up of the words. I'm not great at vocabulary, and you still have to sort of interpret what you're seeing here. But yeah, it's a warning for the people of the Xi'an Empire, Nya Sao Xi'an. It's saying that, do you mean like Nya Xi'an? Yeah, a Xi'an person is Nya Xi'an, but Nya Sao Xi'an means people of the Xi'an Empire, which kind of implies not just Xi'an people. You get what I mean? Like humans who live in the Xi'an Empire, perhaps. Warning for all the people of the Xi'an Empire regarding the terrorist organization, the human terrorist organization, Xenothreat. So, I'll call it a warning. So I'm going to do a bit of interpretives. So although there isn't a definite or an indefinite article in Xi'an, it's kind of implied this is like the title. So a warning for the people of the Xi'an Empire. Regarding the human terrorist organization Xenothreat. And in terms of the grammar there, it's kind of interesting in how we're going to some of the things like Yiyasweeth is a really interesting word because it's saying like terror as a way of life in a sense. It's sort of it's a very like Yi is kind of like inherently like political or ideological idea. It's not just a thing that one does; it's a thing one embodies and believes. It's saying that it's of the human as a species, not like of the human. Like they could have implied that it was a UEE terrorist organization. I'm not familiar with this PR. Not so like Xenothreat is Xenothreat is just a transliteration of Xenothreat. But yes, it's PR as in family. Oh, that's interesting. So instead of calling them, they're calling them like, it's not group in just, it is kind of group in a, it's just their word for group really, but it kind of is implying like that it's that they're kind of a close knit group. It's not just a collection of people. It's a team of people. I think that's a interesting sort of insight into how they view Xenothreat. Right. If anyone got any questions, please do put them in the chat. I'm hoping that I'm still connected because I have disconnected already once. It should be fine. Okay. I'm going to bring the alphabet back up just in case I need to refer back to it. Enclave. Did I say enclave at some point? There's a human enclave at. There is an enclave of human people in not Tohill, in Karela, in the city of Xi, which are like the people who fled the UEE. Oh, Pia. Yeah, no, Pia does just mean like group or family or troop. I was just commenting on like it's a bit more loaded than just a collection. I wouldn't call Xenothreat an enclave really. They're more of an exclave, as in they're living outside the UEE as humans. They do remind me of the enclave from Fallout. Not Fallout, Half-Life. Okay, let's get back to it. My how bad is my rusty Xi'an? I can't remember like ear. Like damn trail. So Xi'an. Xi'an Swear. I think there's something about like novelty. Can't remember. Yeah. So it's just Yo. That's a preposition, I believe. Like way over there. Duncan McXenothreat, the clan McXenothreat. Yeah, that's that'd be a good name for a character. I endorse that. I always hate all these prepositions where they're like, I think it's a preposition like over there or that idea. They're not single characters. They kind of feel like the kind of things where they would have a special special single character because they're so like commonly used. Is it T, right? I will get better. I will get my mind around back in gear. I'm also just very tired. This is actually already the end of the work week for me. I've already worked I do a rotating pattern to give 24/7 coverage in a healthcare thing. So I am already about 50 hours deep into my work week, and looking forward to my weekend. That is sort of Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Where was I? Oh, tongue. So I'm up to my mouse pointer here with Yai. Po. Po. I really love it. Po was the word for the police. Watch out, the po is coming. Po with a long O. It means. Is it the act of doing? Po with a short O is like a conceptual idea, but I think Po with a long O is maybe the act of doing. Oh, there's that. It's the letter. I think it's Kur or Kur. It's Kur. So that appears in the word Kathak, right? Yi Krong is the belief in doing horrible, monstrous things. Krong. I like how Kur appearing Kathak and Krong, kind of continuing my little fan theory that the Xi'an are a little bit sensitive about which letter or impose meaning upon the individual letters. If you weren't here at the start, I was pointing out that they use the rarer form of the letter th in Xenothreat, rather than the form that appears in the word good and proper. And I think that's like, I think that's deliberate. I think that was probably considered as a. Is that Tio? Again, this is one which is probably. You can't even have Yibor, can you? Or, what am I saying? It's, oh yes, it's a Yao. Jiao, not Jiao. Jiao. Jiao's not a letter. That's not possible to say. That's Yai with a long A. Yang A T Gi Po Wei E just wondering, with the new words, I didn't see any new characters. I assume they always use combinations of the already established set. Yeah, they're using the same characters as usual. What I was pointing out was that they're using a rare character. I've got the characters up just because I'm a little bit rusty and I want to make sure that I am getting them right. I'd rather do that than like just forge ahead. As I say, I'm also just quite tired. And also, just there are some characters which are just, they're less commonly used, or you don't get that many chances to do sort of Xi'an to English translation. So it's not kind of a very practiced thing of mine to just look at a text like this and then just go with it. This is a weird character. It's got a vowel, then another vowel, and then an N. Yes, Chris, thanks for... Chris, thanks for adding the words. I noticed that they're already there. Much appreciated. And much appreciated, as always, for all the work that you do for the community. Sorry, that sounds a sarcastic way I said community. Thank you for the work you do for the community. It is always appreciated. And obviously under-recognised. Human. So Xi'an is one of the ways they say. Xi'an, not Xi'an. Sorry, getting ahead of myself. Xi'an is one of the ways that they say UEE. There's also a longer word name for the UEE, but that's less commonly used. It's kind of the difference between us saying like Greece and the Hellenic Republic or whatever. Yay. Don't think I even put these dots in the right place like that. Yeah, I saw that other people have done the SRX. As I say, this stream is for kind of for my own enjoyment, and I thought also for posterity. If someone wants to look back at this because the recording gets saved, I wouldn't have been able to. I wasn't able to stay up last night to do it. I had work that I had to worry about. But also, I feel like every time we have these translations, these things to translate come out, usually there's been this like big community effort then for everyone kind of pitching in, going, "Oh, what do you think of this bit?" And that's really great, and like that's what should be there. But then last year, or the last time I did one of these, I was staying up so as soon as it came out, I was ready and translating it, and I think that killed everyone else's translation efforts because it sort of took all the oxygen out of anyone else having a go at it. And I don't think that's good. I think that it's better if this isn't just for my entertainment, or like they're not putting this out for my entertainment. They're putting it out for the community, and I should definitely like not be the first person having a go at them. Not that I'm special or important, just that it's it just ruins it for everyone else. See, this comes back to these prepositions. They have like really weird placement of the I missed some dots and dashes here, and I'm putting them in the wrong places. Yeah, sorry. They always go after the consonant. Is that poo rather than po? Gi-po rather than ni-poo. Let me go back. Yeah, I really hate these prepositions because they're so non-standard, but then they have standard spelling, and I really wish they had non-standard spelling because it's ni-poo, not ni-po. Okay. Because yeah, there's parts of the grammar where they have non-standard spellings, and it seems like prepositions would be that. Okay, so right, what we got here? So tell you about this new. I'm sort of going just on vibes at the moment. So we go up to the comma, so that'll be an easier phrase to do. And then there's the. So just breaking it apart into sort of clauses and so forth. Yeah, I agree, Chris. Like, if the people who are able to do a translation in this fashion, sitting down and just sort of bashing through it, are the first people translating it. Particularly when we're familiar enough that we can just sort of read it out with a few mistakes. We're just undermining anyone else's desire to then learn to do the same, and so it's entirely proper that we should call back, as well as not being able to last night. How creaky this chair is. So if I go up to so we're going up to the commission of crimes. Yeah, I was right. Yes, the act of doing crime. Paul, who is the Astropub. Paul Astropub Shelley, who I do my Law System podcast with. He has his Pride Month slogan is "Be gay, do crimes," and that's quite a good Xi'an slogan, because they have a lot of for Xi'an they have romance and they have reproduction as completely different, separate activities, and there's vocabulary which is around that. And in fact, I think it's even kind of implied that Xi'an is sort of functionally polyamorous, that they live in sort of polycules of romantically involved adults that all raise each other's children. So let me just unpack what I'm seeing here. So I'm just trying to work out what refers to what. So this appears to be a regular update. So the fact that it says Ultung, it means this is in the manner of a regular update. So this isn't necessarily a special update. There's no sort of there's no pronoun here. So there's no it's not like we are giving you this thing. So it's kind of implied that it's somebody else. It's kind of implied that it's just like almost passive voice, I'd say, and there is a specific participle that explicitly says this passive voice, but I'm going to kind of interpret this of in a sort of passive voice of this update is being given. So I'm choosing to use the passive voice there because there isn't a pronoun. So what we have here is it's saying do describe, do to talk is the sort of verb here. It's like is being not quite broadcast. Well, it's being presented, I think would be the best way to put it. That is one of the translations here. I think broadcast would be a good translation of this, seeing as it is an update, but I think there is a different word for that. So this regular update is being presented, so that's including the do describe, so that would be like I describe, you describe, or I present, you present. And then it's an update, this update, which is typical, normal, everyday. It's not an exceptional update about crimes. So it's kind of like this is sort of saying like, this is your regular crime update. So I'm thinking like, this is a regular crime update. It would be more sort of sorry, I keep burping a bit because I'm drinking a nice beer. Apologise for that. It's kind of just saying, yeah, it's kind of like Crime Watch. It's kind of like saying, this is your like this is the regular crime shipping broadcast kind of thing. At least that's my vibe of it, just off that. Yikrong e Yasuith is, as I was saying, it's like this yi prefix again. It's like savagery as a way of life. Is it, which A was it? Was it like, I don't know. I would kind of, if I, the kind of thought I have in my mind is like, it's sort of like savagery and terrorism, but it's not the word and. So I guess they were going more for like terrifying or sort of terrorist savagery. I can't spell savagery. There you go. Terrorist savagery. Or, so it's actually, we're actually doing a list here. So about crime, terrorist savagery, or harm from political way A. Did I definitely have I had a way A. Way A. Yeah, the reason why I'm kind of getting careful over my A's is because with A, as in just the letter E, it gets used in two forms, and I remember it coming up in two forms in this. Where you have this singular A, that's just sort of what's the word? It's not grammatic. It's I'm forgetting my own English grammar words here. It's just sort of connective saying of. It's like adjectival. Whereas here we've got A as a letter, so that's now a verb. So we're talking about something which is of this sort of then like little verb clause, which is the bit where it goes of. Yeah, so it's things which are currently happening beyond the Xi'an Empire. So it is political violence occurring beyond the Xi'an Empire, including information regarding hidden threats. Okay, so what are we going to translate this as entirely? So I'm going to, seeing as other people have done like the literal translations, I'm going to sort of take a step beyond. Well, I go to sort of translate it more in my sort of in more vernacular sense of going like past it. Aidan McKee, thanks for coming back from last. Haven't been there last year. Thanks for coming back this year. I'm going to say this. Yeah, this regular this presentation is a regular update. Is not regular. It's got a bit of a split meaning there. Is an ordinary update about crimes, terrorist savagery, or political violence occurring beyond the Xi'an Empire, including information regarding domestic hidden threats. How close did I get last year? I think I got a couple of sentences badly wrong, which I'm not that upset about. These are always quite difficult relative to the stuff that we learned Xi'an on. We only really have like 3 extensive pieces of Xi'an text, which are the letter from Master Tao in the book, this, and last year's. There's a few sentences in some other law documents, but in terms of like a big document, this is this is all we have. So every time you see me doing this, it's the first time I've done it in a year, and it's really only the 3rd time I've ever done it. So I'm not I'm never going to get that good at that until they like you know, have someone write a novel, which isn't going to happen because it wouldn't be a good use of development resources. Yeah, I think you can look back and compare mine. If you want to have a look at how close I was. How's my stream looking, by the way? I just want to check that I'm not completely beet red. It's really hot in Britain today, and I'm very glad I'm not going to be working over the next couple of days because my workplace is going to get very, very hot. Oh, right, back to some transliteration. Channel. I think that's the cha. I'll stick with cha for now. If I'm wrong, then this excellent app that Chris made will flag up for me. Channel ha is that like emphatic, like very. It's a you put it after anything you really want to emphasize. But if you emphasize things too much, you can end up sounding really rude. You are a something. You are is all houses. All houses are recommended to maintain vigilance, essentially. To maintain like great vigilance. All houses. I'm gonna put all lines. I always prefer line rather than house. House always just sounds like Klingons. It's an incomplete translation, really. I mean, there's. Yeah, it will be 30 degrees. I live in the Midlands as well, Daniel, and it's going to be more than 30. And for my colleagues who are going to be at work, I wish them the best, but I am very glad that I won't be there. I'm going to be in London the next few days, celebrating my first anniversary. This wasn't planned, but my legal wedding anniversary is actually Alien First Contact Day, June 12th, and then because of COVID I had to reschedule the actual wedding, so my real anniversary is in September, but every year I'll be celebrating 2 anniversaries several months apart, and 3 months apart, and one of them happens to coincide with Banu First Contact, Alien First Contact. One year happily married. I actually have a gift from my wife down here. I took it down off the wall because it slipped its frame. I need to get a better frame for it. But she commissioned an artist to make a character poster for me, which is a little bit special. As in, he went and did this from, I think, from the Holo Viewer, but it's then bespoke done, and it's just a really nice thing to have. But then I tried to get a frame for it, and the frame I got is just not good enough. It's like horrible plastic, so I might actually take it to get properly framed, and find ways to put that up. Right. Seems like I'm putting off the translation. If this is pissing people off, please let me know in the chat. So yeah, all lines are advised to be extremely vigilant. I'm using the word line in the same way that I always use the word Suli when I'm I would always prefer to use the word Yiwa when referring to Xi'an houses, Xi'an lines, because Yiwa has ideas within it which cannot be translated. Just like Suli from Banu has ideas in it which cannot be completely translated. Because, happy birthday, Darge. Oh yeah, happy birthday. That's, glad you had a nice birthday. You can't. If you called a Xi'an Yiwa a line, a lineage, I think that is a good translation of it, but it makes it sound like a family tree. If you call them a house, then it kind of sounds. You kind of have to think of it in terms of nobility, but then that again is sort of incomplete in what those relationships are. because they're also almost like nations. They're almost like a whole country in a sense. But that's incomplete because they're also an industry, and so there's all this stuff tied up in being a Yuan. So lines is the best bad translation that I like to use, rather than house. So that's why I'm going to leave it as lines. Okay, so on to the big third paragraph, and again I'm going to do the SRX up to a full stop, then I'll break it down into phrases, and then we'll go from there. Where actually is the first full stop? Or is this going to become like massive? Is there? Okay. Where it says, yeah, another Xi'an there. Right. If there's any problems with the sound or my camera, please do let me know as well, because I don't have another sort of monitor here. I'm neither a professional streamer nor are my streams professional. Yes, a angsty. How old did you turn, Darge, if you don't mind saying? Or is that an unpleasant question? You can tell I'm getting back into the flow of doing this translation, or the transliteration. I always think of it as two steps of transliteration and then translation, which might be because as a biologist I obviously think a lot about or have in the past thought a lot about translation and transcription, which is genes being being copied and then turning the RNA becoming protein, or not becoming protein, being used as the template of protein. I think that's SWO, but I think it might be a long SWO, so I just want to double check that. No, I'm wrong. I'm just completely wrong entirely. It's SWOA, yeah, okay. Yeah. I wanted to double check if it was the one with the one or the two vowels, but yes. Yes, this is Huang. Oh, Dodge, I was just asking how old you turned today. Oh, for your birthday. If it's not a rude question. Xi'an. Ha. Another nice emphatic there. I'll change my font. 38. Happy birthday. Almost at Banu retirement age of, what's that, like 42, 43? I should show you guys my retirement clock somewhere. Hang on. Oh, get all this crap out of my desk. Do I have batteries in it? I do have batteries in it, but I think, yeah, the battery's fine. I know, I disconnected it. So this is an LED project I was working on for playing around with. I was just playing around with LEDs, so I could do a Banu clock essentially. Which would be there we go. So yeah, I kind of need to put a piece of plastic and paper in front of it. This was one of the earlier designs, but basically, so there'd be a diffuser, and this is visible on the stream. Let's have a look. So this being a sort of device which would count individual beats in the middle. So this pulses every 5 seconds, which is a Banu beat, and then a trail of lights going around. And then when it hits the top, which will take a couple of minutes, so I'm not going to wait and show. It will then cascade into the other sections. But the delay. If you look back on my Twitter, I've been working on this for like a good couple of years now, because I keep putting it down and then picking it up. And I went to get like a design laser cut to be the face for this, and then I went down a real rabbit hole of thinking about how I really wanted it to look, and I ended up buying a CNC machine in order to actually carve a 3D sort of ripple that will be the clock of the face, the face of the clock, and it's yeah. Red, thanks for coming back. I've been doing well. I've been working very hard, so I haven't been able to do much. But I don't have a donate button. I don't think I would put a donate button up because it would take away the fun. If you'd like to donate, please donate to your local homeless charity or homeless shelter, because that's something I believe in a lot, and particularly these days, need all the help they can get. And the best, what am I doing? I'm translating the wrong bit. The best thing you can ever give a homeless shelter is money, because then they'll buy the things that people actually need. It is great to donate your clothes. It is great to give them. It is good to donate certain clothes. It's best to see what they want donated, because a lot of homeless shelters get problems with people giving them things that they want. They think that they'll want, but they've actually got like 1,000 of, or they're not the right thing. See this less again. And that's why money is like always the best thing you can do, because they will go and buy better than you will the things they actually need. When I worked at a homeless shelter, volunteering, yeah, when we get Xi'an plans, I'll definitely be doing like tour guides. Yeah, when I worked at a homeless shelter, the thing you needed the most was takeaway containers, coffee cups, and basically like disposable food containers, which nobody is ever going to donate unless they're specifically like buying off the shelter's wish list. Meanwhile, we would have 100 like people would always donate like their old duvets, and yeah, we needed duvets, but we kind of had a lot of duvets, and we put a lot of work into essentially throwing away lots of duvets because new duvets were coming in. And really, we would have been better off just with people giving us the things we actually needed. So yeah, I haven't been away. By the way, you can find me doing regular stuff with, as I say, Paul Astropub Shelley. He's always been a great supporter of the law community in general, and he has me on regularly on his Law System podcast, which I really appreciate and I really enjoyed doing. Oh yeah, Daj, yeah, donating socks. Every homeless shelter needs socks, certainly. That is the best thing. Socks and chocks is the old mantra. Oh, here's another interesting word, because this word has a sort of 0 in it. It probably means it's going to be a loan word, because it basically means we're trying to fit this letter in a way which doesn't. Let's go Stanton, isn't it? Stanton. So they're probably like Stanton. Yeah, Huiteth is Stanton. Huiteth is planetary system. Earth. Human. Oh no, not human. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself again. Oh, it's not even an H. What am I doing? Pi. Is that L or R? I think that's R. Pyro. Yeah, Pyro. Ah, cute. That's how they say Stanton and Pyro. Interestingly, they're calling Pyro a human system. You found a few typos, Chris. Can't get anything past you. maybe it's being a bureaucratic broadcast, they can't have anything without a few mistakes. But there we go. That's the official ways of South Say Stanton and Pyro in Xi'an. Yeah, it's interesting that they call Pyro a human system because Pyro was inhabited by humans extensively, but is not part of. Yes, it is kind of a human system, but not. Actually, I've got ahead of myself. I said human, but it says of Sao human. So that's actually kind of. It's not. When I say it's incorrect, it's not incorrect in the text. It's incorrect in the sense of like a human wouldn't see it that way, but a Xi'an might. So they've said of the human empire essentially, or of the human domain. But Pyro is not considered part of the UEE. It's not claimed by them. It was inhabited. It's kind of been de-inhabited. And it kind of shows their sense that they don't really care that like Pyro isn't officially part of the UEE. They just sort of see it as part of human space. So it's kind of like there aren't really many parts of the world where the countries don't claim them. It's like kind of calling the international waters off America as like American waters, even if they're not actually officially belonging to America. So what have I got wrong? Did I guess? I got there something where it says C. Oh yeah, it's not C. It's Re. Don't know why I did S. Was it Huang and Huang? This might be one of the typos that Chris is mentioning. No, that was actually me being wrong there. I left out the A. I'm gonna put like an extra. It was actually definitely human. Yeah. I'm also trying to give you some entertaining banter, and so I'm making mistakes as I go along because I'm dividing my attention between trying to be somewhat entertaining while also paying attention to this. Oh yeah, I left out the little carrot. I think I can do it. Yeah, I can type that. I couldn't remember if I could actually type that with my setup. Okay, so it's imperative that you have. Let's break this down a bit. This is. We've got a pejorative, folks. The pejorative. So Xi'an verbs have a number of different like flavors. I think would be the best way to call them. And you usually just have neutral polite. So that's O, A, lo, T, and so forth. And there's a whole set that are for referring to the emperor. You never even say the emperor. There's just this set of verbs which is kind of like Caesar is watching and Caesar is speaking. And then there's the pejorative, which is basically rude. It's like inherently rude. And there is a provision in the guide that teaches you Xi'an to say, don't try to use this because you're not going to do it right. So, that's it's going to be something bad. It's going to be something nasty. There aren't any comments on which to break this apart, so I'm just going to have to probably just like let's break it apart a little bit. So that's like the that's humans of. Well, it's not the humans of senior threat, but yeah, it's got the humans of senior threat. Least fun Facebook group Twitter thread ever. Humans of New York, humans of senior threat. And that's like within the planetary systems of name stand. In the human. I'm going to call it human territory because I'm translating it into English, or I'm translating it into UEE standard. And it wouldn't be right to say that like within the UEE. And this is sort of indicating that there are two names for it. Let me just look up the there is a different word for the UEE. I can't remember. It's more like yeah, human infested space would be a good way to put it. Yeah, so like Sauniyath is the era, which is like yeah, like the political empire of Earth or something like that. I can't remember what Yath is. It's Yath. One. Yath. Oh yeah, it's the United Empire of Earth. It's a literal translation. Yeah, Niath means like inherently one. So this is kind of indicating that there's two concepts of the Salhum and the Salniyath, and one is Salhum is like all human space, and then the Salniyath Erath is the political, the UEE, and are they viewing them as different? Are they kind of saying the UEE should take responsibility for every system that is, as Darge puts, infested with humans? Pyro is not the most exciting of the. Pyro, I mean, like obviously, there's reason to be excited about Pyro, but there are a few other systems which are these sort of quasi-human systems in that they are like humans went there and they inherited it, and there's maybe cities and stuff, but they're not part of the UEE. And one of the most interesting is Oberon, which is on the sort of Vandal frontier, and was the site of this battle where it was the first time we ever killed a kingship. And it's inhabited by miners, basically. So people who mine, not children. And they kind of want to be part of the UEE, but the UEE doesn't really want to take responsibility for it. Okay, where's... we were talking about the Vandal Wars in our recent Lord Citizen, so I would recommend that. There's something about their terror increasing in boldness, or okay, so it's must be again. I'm gonna be like a little bit sort of take a bit of license with the translation. So and change it to like you must be made aware, which is not exactly what we're saying here. What they're saying is with Emya Yeth is hello, Cybernetica. Thank you very much. Nice to see you again. So Emya Yeth is it's imperative. It's imperative knowledge essentially. It's like it's imperative to be aware. You must be aware, and I'm going to say you must be made aware because that's more natural English, and I'm trying to go for that. And then ang is kind of like a grammatical linker, and it's sort of saying that like this is what you've got to be made aware of, but what I'm going to staple on here is a sentence. So ang is sort of setting this up to say, here's a box, and everything in this box is what you've got to be made aware of. And this is where we get to that interesting pejorative vowel, which is re, which is the rude version of e. Rude is a simplification, but the only example of a pejorative being used pejorative being used is someone saying, "Oh, I'm such a bloody idiot," kind of thing. Yeah, Daniel. Yeah. So yeah, Tomato was going to join as sort of like the regular guy in the room full of like massive nerds, going like, "Oh yeah, that's interesting. Here's a question that I would ask as a regular guy," and immediately we're like, "Nah, we're making you a nerd. You're obliged. Here you go. Here's your writing assignment. 10,000 words. Let's go. We will mark it." It's the problem with having a stream which is populated by 3 people who've worked in education, is we're going to set homework. So you must be made aware of so Ri Yasrith Huang Shan Ha. So that, yeah, so again you're going to see me do something weird then here. All of this text here, the this is the thing that's going to be in the box, which is the essentially the what is it saying? Basically, the Xena threat is doing is increasing their is hugely increasing their boldness and of their terror. But the thing is that the humans and Xena threat actually goes before that in English. It goes after that in grammar, in Xi'an grammar, but before that in English. This whole kind of like ka hui teth is I'm gonna leave that at the end of the sentence. So Xena threat humans would be better. Are greatly increasing are continuing to they're kind of saying to do violence or to be violent, to be violent. I kind of always feel like it would be nice to have said to cause violence, but maybe that's just a difference in perspective on who's responsible for violence. Are continuing to be violent in an increasingly bold way, I think would be a way within the planetary within the planetary systems in the human territory. Again, I'm just going to rearrange this. Named stands of power in the human territory. So everything's still visible. There we go. Okay. So, having finished that sentence, I'm just going to turn the lights on because it was light when I started and now it's getting a bit dark. So, excuse me 1 second. I'll be right back. I got a message from my wife saying, yeah, make sure you talk about the character artwork. It is by Jasper at Pixel Posters GB. So if you'd like, as I say, the frame I bought for this is really bad, so I need to get a better frame for it. But if you'd like to commission any works which are like this, which is a custom work of my favourite ship, my Carrack, which is called the Sanyo-sen, then that was by Jasper at Pixel Posters GB. There's a joke in the fact that I called it Sanyo-sen. It means the ship with no name. They made the decision not to put in special basically any character beyond just the alphabet, which ironically means that it doesn't even support most English, because you can't say like there's in-law ship names like Ronald Tope. Can't say that because you can't have an apostrophe S, and therefore you can't have most Xi'an names. So I had a lovely name picked out for my Carrack, and I wasn't able to put it in yet, and so currently it's called the Sanyo-sen, the ship with no name. So, human territory. Sao Hum. Okay, so we're up to here. Sothes. Sethe. You are a. Oh, that should be probably capitalized. As Chris was saying, there might be some typos. Usually Yiwa is capitalized. Yeah, Moon. I would recommend learning real languages before learning fictional ones. I enjoy fictional languages. Thanks for joining. I enjoy fictional languages because they're like logic puzzles. They are designed to be broken. They are designed to be sort of used in a way which is not necessarily like taxing. Xi'an? What does Xi'an mean? I don't know. So it's kind of like a Sudoku to me. Whereas real languaes are full of like rules and actual grammar that is less. It's not fun for me. I mean, like I do enjoy it. I do enjoy real languages. I've learned during my life a few different languages, like schools and at like for going away. So I like to learn at least a little bit of language before I get to where I'm going. I've even just like literally bought a book on a plane and then like try to read it, try to learn enough grammar by the time I land that I can get by, which can be fun. I think I did that with Italian once. I enough to order a coffee, order at a restaurant in the time it took to fly. It isn't, that's not learning a language. That's just learning a few phrases. My best language other than English is actually German, but every time I say that, I'm really aware that I'm around Germans who speak so much better English than I'll ever speak German that I'm just embarrassed, and so I'm not going to try German. So Miriam, I can kind of speak German. I can read German fairly well, and I have been trying to learn a bit of Dutch, which German has really helped with learning Dutch because it's kind of just a mix of wrong English and wrong Dutch. Sorry, Netherlands people, but you know the score. And I can read Latin, which I learned at school. I had French for a while, but I didn't learn that. After that, probably my best would be Portuguese because I'm absolutely in love with the island of Madeira. It's breath, not. So yeah, like I was saying, Xi'an doesn't make sense. Like, I haven't seen Xi'an before. Am I just being stupid? Where was this? It was here. It is Xi'an. What is Xi'an? It's like Xi'an pirates. You are like gangsters. Oh yeah, there we go. There. I was just missing the apostrophe. There we go. Xi'an, great. So this is a new word, I think. If it isn't a new word, I haven't used it much before. Yua is a prefix for like. Now this is why I was a bit confused because I was forgetting what this was because this is three. This is Yua is not like a standard. It's not a standard symbol. It's a non-standard spelling, I think. But Yua it's like Yua Tong Huita or something like that. What is it? It's caretakers. Try to find it's basically these gangster houses that are like licensed criminals. I'm just trying to find the full name for it. It's a really long word. It's one of the longest words that you hear commonly. It's not this. So these are like different jobs within the gang, but there it is. You are Tonghuita. and there's one called like the Kang or something, but basically they're like the licensed criminal houses that are permitted to do crime, and it's kind of like evolved from a system of like saying, well, those guys do crime, so they stop everyone else from doing crime, and also sort of being able to give like proxy wars against the houses you don't like, I guess. Okay, so they, again, we're using the pejorative, rethe. So rethe is like, again, I think this is a new thing. There's a word which is aa, which is the verb a. I mean to be twice. Aa would be to resemble something, and so rethe is quite funny because it could have been rethreth, but no, which is a word just for moon. But no, they've gone for rethe for that, which is the pejorative version of aa. That's interesting. So that would mean that if the emperor was resembling something, then you would have whatever the verb is that is for the emperor being a. So they resemble one of the quasi-criminal houses within the Xi'an Empire, but in the important way. They resemble like a big and powerful one of that. Yeah, it's basically they. So the they is implied. This is still about Xena threat. They resemble a this powerful group resembles a large and important criminal house. Criminal line. Something like that. So that, yeah, they're like great in size and power. Actually, yeah. So this group resembles a large and it said a Huang. I think I might have. Did I get that wrong? No, I think that's. Oh, it should be right. Huang be important. Oh yes, so yeah, this is another of the places where. So it's not that I'm putting it in an SRX, so it thinks that it's saying a Huang because it kind of is, but it's the different a. So again, this is the sort of verb a, and this is sort of the conjunction a again. Mr. Saps, thanks for coming out. Yeah, feel free to ask your theory. If you want to put it in the chat now, I can try to answer if you've got a theory. If not, feel free to DM it to me or pop it in one of the Law and Linguistics channels on Discord. Yeah, so because I was using SRX, it was looking up in the dictionary and found a Huang because it's important that, but actually it's Huang important. So it's a large an important Xi'an criminal line that is large and powerful. Thanks for coming, Daniel. Appreciate this. Probably isn't the most exciting thing to watch on your Wednesday night. I really appreciate anyone who chooses to. The recording will be up as well. So, but thanks for coming in, giving your support. It would be rather tragic to just do it with nobody watching at all. Well, actually, I'd enjoy it for my own sake, but I don't mind being tragic. So we got up to a Yao, which is here. Again, this grammar isn't. This like English isn't great. This group resembles an important criminal line that is large and powerful. Okay, I'll just leave it as that. That's fine. So we're up to this Yao, and then we go. Oh. Opa. Teth. Teth. Not Teth, 10. If you've got an in-depth question, I don't mind. You know, I'm nattering over my transliteration so that it doesn't get too boring. So hopefully I can give you some things to think about beyond just the straightforward like letters I'm typing. So if you have something which is you think would be interesting for the class, I'm more than happy to banter about that. Oh, that's some horrible. A drop to a rise to a drop. Oh, what are you doing to me? Ha kya. It's about fighting. Kya, kya. So I always remember that kya is fighting, because it's like everybody was fighting. Kya. That was good. There's some lovely early concept art of like Xi'an fighting Vandal. And it's like, when did this happen? Thank you for calling me second monitor worthy. I think that's the nicest thing someone's said to me all day. Hakya. Again, we've got another pejorative, ro, which is the pejorative of to do. So, ro, they're continuing to do something. They continue to do. She, yeah. That's like new. They're newly continuing. They're currently newly doing something. I think Xi'an. Okay, keep your secrets. Okay, keep your secrets. Sorry, I'm reacting to what Mr. Snaps is saying in chat about his theory that he's working on and he wants me to have a look at, but he doesn't want to tell me what it is yet. So, yeah, all right, keep your secrets. Twom. T. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. Unyakia is like Unyakia Hume. Ah, that's you guys. Unyakia Hume is the group of human soldiers, which is us. That's us fighting Xenothreat. That's the CDF. CDF's kind of interesting in that it's based out of Bremen. It kind of grow out of a planet which is like particularly military, and like particularly militarized. It's kind of like the Alderaan of, and I call them like the Alderaan of the Star System universe, because they were the ones who like had the military to stand up to the messes. They kind of like were getting to the point where they were like about to do sort of armed insurrection essentially, and they were smuggling people out of the Empire beyond the borders. They were like ready to throw down basically, and that could be Chol or it could be Chol. It's Chol for now. So the CDF are based out of that military planet originally, or they're based on that military planet or something like that, which is kind of a reflection of a historic place in that planet has as citizenry that was ready to arm itself against the messes. So most planets in the Star System universe, yes, there is there's the UEE military, but they also have essentially their own planetary governments. Each planet is just like its own country, would be the right way to put it. And they have their own. They're not just their own country. They're actually like each planet will have several states, and each state is its own country. And then they have a committee which rules the planet under a planetary. They all have a governor, and then there's a council of governors for the planet, and then that then feeds up to the empire level. So and it's the states which are represented at the empire level as well. So they're almost more like a planet is like a continent, and then the governors committee is like the European Union or the African Union or the or Xi'an, or something which is like supranational, and then the empire is like the United Nations, and indeed came out of the United Nations in the law. Of course, Stanton's a bit of an exception to that because although there are very developed planets within Stanton, they're never ever going to be recognized as these country entities with representation, because they are privately owned enterprises. And that was tried once before in the system which is now known as Nexus, but was the first ever system to be like outright sold, and this is what kind of inspired Stanton to exist. And it was sold to a group called Hathor. So for a long time it was called Hathor, but Hathor did not care to actually bother to police the place, and as a result, criminals moved in, and they didn't. As I said, they just let them run riots, and then so when Hathor left, it was just left to the criminals. So this is where you have a claimed UEE system that is just a pirate system, sort of like if Pyro was actually claimed by the UEE, whereas it's not. Now, there's a few interesting things of that. One is that is actually where the scenario we know about for Theatres of War happens, with that kind of groups of pirates in the Hathor system or the Nexus system, and also that's kind of what's happening again with Stanton, that they said they learned the lessons of that experience in inspiring it to try it again. But they gave most of the policing responsibilities to Crusader. But Crusader aren't policing things like Grimhacks. They aren't bothering to police a lot of the things that they could. So really they're just doing Nexus all over again to some degree. At least that's some versions of the law. That's interesting. So are Wong. Okay. Yo. There's lots of pejorative verbs in this. This Ruo. This character here, Ruo, is extremely. It's coming up a lot here. So this is definitely indicative of things that Xenothreat are doing that the Xi'an do not approve of. Probably killing Xi'an and saying mean things about Xi'an. They do love saying mean things about Xi'an. I kind of feel like I might have lost concentration and be writing down the same sentence over again. See, so long. Like I've just been trying to natter so that I can provide some interesting commentary as I go along. But I might have lost concentration. Can you forgive me for losing concentration? And am I still connected? Yes. By the way, Muka Chipmal, I did say nya, and I will say nya a lot. It is just the Xi'an word for a person. an individual. What we got here? Quoth. Quoth the net raven nevermore. Almost at the end of the sentence. Earth. Sol. I always have problems with this letter because it can be L or R. Usually it's L. L is the proper pronunciation, and then but sometimes it'll creep in as R. Slayer. Not Slayer. I always assume it's going to be Slayer. Oh, this is a hell of a sort of sleuth. What? What the hell is sleuth? Oh, song sleuth. Ouch, that's a mouthful. Okay, so what did I get wrong? Let's have a look. It's going to flag up in red anything that I got wrong. Yeah, okay. And I'm going to check back to see. So some of it is just I've got I've got the punctuation in the wrong place because I'm not paying enough attention. Yeah, like Nexus is known as it's not too obscure a bit of knowledge. I can't remember how I got onto talking about that. Oh, you didn't know? Okay, well there you go. Yeah, so most of my mistakes I'm making, I'm not putting the punctuation in the right place because there's some pretty like the deep magics are how to put the pronunciation in the right place, and I am not always going to get them right. What did I get wrong here? I think it's just complaining that I have a comma on it, maybe. Oh no, I had the yeah, sorry, I'd added it in an extra comma. I've got an extra apostrophe. Yeah, so I'm just basically like reviewing the things I got wrong and accepting their changes. I mean, I could go back and double check. Was I close? But I'm pretty sure. I'd just be wasting my time. Okay, I put this Kiowa, but is that? I don't know how I got a dot out of it if it's not there. No, that's Kiowa, isn't it? K dot Y cow. Not Kiowa cow. It's cow. There you go. It's got the letters swung around. Yeah, all these things where it's just the same letters, but the apostrophes and so forth are in different places. I'm not going to be functioning well enough to get those in the right places. So I'm just going to take those changes and not check back to see if it was... Well, I kind of know that I was wrong, essentially. So I'm just going to... so quoth. No, quoth is definitely a... Okay, the K and the TH is definitely there, and this is definitely lowercase. Did I get the letter wrong? I thought that was UO. Oh no, it's not UO. Okay. It's qua. Okay, yeah. The reason I was thrown off is that the dot goes below, and when you got the dot below the angle, usually you're talking about an O. I almost think of it as above for A and below for O, but because you can see that the O there. But yeah, no. This is my as I was saying earlier. When it comes to these corner forms, I'm really out of practice because I don't usually, like, most of the things I ever do with writing is writing human names, and wa doesn't come up a lot in human names. Was there anything else that I got wrong? Yeah, it's another sort of apostrophe problem. So let's drop that in. Oh, just copied over it again. Okie dokie. That's my chapter. Okay. I've always still got that wrong. Okay, well it definitely says quath. So, what the fuck's... sorry. What the heck is quath when it's not at home? Is that not TH? I'm double guessing myself at all parts now. No, it's TH. So, Quath. Okay. That's a funny one. Okay, so I'm really just rigorously double checking that I'm not doing something stupid here. That is okay. So it might be one of these spelling mistakes. Let's have a look. Oh, there it is. Yeah, Quath. Oh, it's because I didn't put the F. Sorry. I haven't put the macron in. That's why. Yeah, yeah. I suppose if I was doing more French names, I would get like Francois. Yeah, you are right. Yeah, so I've got one Hakia left, which is I didn't copy over it, did I? Okie dokie. Right, let's unpack this monstrously long sentence. Okay, where have we got some breaks? Break it down into that's the butt. Francois, Benoit, you're right. I come from originally from the city of Southampton, and we have a local sort of legendary knight, sort of a King Arthur-like figure called Sir Bevois, but also known in anglicised to Beavis. So you got like Beavis Valley. So I've broken it down into a few like little clauses. So getting quite hungry actually. I might have to take a bit of a break to at the end of this paragraph, and then maybe come back to this later or another day to do the second page. I'm not sure. Oh, by the way, this big red character at the end, this is just end of transmission. It's like Sanya. It means end of transmission. Last year's one had like interesting seals at the end. It had like the seal of the Emperor, and it had the seal of House Gatak, but was it House Shou? I think it had both. It had like House Shou because it was the Emperor at the time was the Shou Emperors, and that was really interesting because it had the ancient form of XY rather than the modern form of XY. This just has end of translation. Not a complaint, just a comment. Okay, opa qui shutan. Someone's delaying a battle. So the vibe I'm guessing is it's talking about the CDF fighting Xi'an threat. Like I'm just sort of that's kind of what the sentence says. In terms of working out what it says, so bands of human fighters. I like that. I like this bands of human fighters, right? Rather than yeah, you could say groups but bands of human fighters. So this sentence is saying that bands of human fighters have been like battling. Then Evro are continuing again. They with. So yeah, strange use of the word T because it's with in the sense of using a tool, whereas accompanying, like I always thought that this would be sort of so rather than T, or actually even better, if they're fighting against bands of human fighters, it would be I would have thought it would be Ning. So Chris said he found a spelling mistake. I think I found a grammar mistake. I think that this should forgive me for questioning the language, but I think this is saying that they're fighting with bands of human fighters, and it kind of says, unless I'm misunderstanding the sentence, currently Xi'an says that they're fighting with bands of human fighters in the sense of me saying, I'm hitting you with a hammer. Like, this is saying that I'm hitting you with a hammer in that sense of with. So they're fighting with bands of human fighters. It means they're using bands of human fighters and fighting, as in like sending them out. Whereas if they're fighting against bands of human fighters, then it would be Ning. And so let me just again, these A's are hitting me again. I should maybe have it in capital if they're the different one, but because I have to go back to the text to make sure that I'm understanding which version of the word it is, which is hard when the text is so long and I'm kind of now in the middle of it, that it's difficult to find it. So I think what they're saying here is that they are they've been fighting against bands of human fighters. They, and who's the they, and what case is the they, and is that pejorative they? I mean, yeah. So the twom is clearly xenothreat because it's not just. So this translates as they, but it's they in the pejorative sense. So it's like those bastards. So that they is the xenothreat. They have been where's this delay coming in? O par qui delay. O par qui shu teng. There has been a delay. It's not there has been a delay. It's someone is doing a delay, or someone's doing an attack, or the attack is, or a delayed attack. No, that's not a delayed attack. And then we're coming up to a but. So I don't think that it's the O par qui is referring to what xenothreat is doing, because each time they refer to what xenothreat is doing, they're using the pejorative verb, and so I think this is referring to what the groups of humans are doing. Did I get qui wrong? Because maybe qui is what's setting me off, because it's saying amount, so I'm thinking about like amounts of delay, but that could be wrong, because it kind of sounds like par qui. There's qui, right? No, it's not qui. It's another thing. It's qui. That's where I'm getting confused. It's qui, not qui. Oh, par qui. I'm sure Chris was screaming that at his screen. So yeah, this is the qui is is the passive form. As I was saying earlier, I used the passive form of verb earlier in this because I felt it was an appropriate way to translate it. But this is the explicitly. This is explicit. They have been delayed. Is the war has been delayed. Battle has been delayed. Opar, qui, or battle has delayed them. Not sure. I'm just going to try to go for vibes here. As in, like, I'm not entirely sure exactly why I think it's this, as in I can't articulate exactly why I think this is. But what I'm guessing from this sentence is that they are basically continuing again to battle with. They've been delayed because they're continuing to battle with human fighters. Right, again, continuing. But they are troll. Yeah, I'm not confident in that. Not confident at all. I'll put it in italics. I'm not confident. I kind of think that's what it's kind of saying, but then I think I'm getting the gist, but not the specifics. It's just a little bit. The grammar's a little bit complex for me. But this has failed to create skeletons. Good and it's failed to make a skeleton out of Xenothreat. This is sort of an idiomatic Xi'an phrase that when you really want to destroy something, like really, it's like completely blasted apart. It's you make a skeleton of it. Eto Tean. I remember this from last year's translation. It was where the Cathak had made a skeleton out of a space station. But so what would be the best way to put it? But this has failed to make a good out of this group that causes danger. I want to leave that in idiomatic Xi'an because it's kind of a bit funny. Like, failed to make a good skeleton. It's a yeah. I think failed to decimate would be a nice way to translate that. And then the last bit, even though Xenothreats talk about how they intend to wage war, wage cruel war without I'm pretty confident in that translation. Even though Xenothreat talk about how they intend to wage cruel and unprovoked war, we have seen ourselves in their transmissions. They do intend to wage unprovoked war. Now, where did I get to? I'm going to move the live chat over to this side. Hopefully that's a bit better to see this far side of the screen. Just checking how many people are actually watching on my phone. It's 18. It's gone up. It's nice. Thank you, all 18 people. Where did I get to in this? It was here. Yeah. Yes, Shongtruth is... that feels like a new word. I don't remember that word. Okay. So, last bit for this sentence, then I might take a short break just to get a new drink and a little bit of a snack, because I am getting a bit hungry for all this brain work. If anyone's got any questions, please put in the chat any questions about Xi'an, how do you say things in Xi'an, any questions you've got about other fictional languages. We could talk about Tavarin, which I'm increasingly believe will come out in, well, I don't know when it's going to come out, but it seems almost certain that it will, and that wasn't always the case. I'm going to start putting the A's in capital if they're the verb A's, so I don't have to keep going back to it. Pui Death Pyro. Hey, it's the Pyro system. Loe So Stanton. Sio Siole Say War Form Left The only thing I know about Tavarin is in the only thing that we kind of know about Tavarin beyond the words that you might already know, like Riora, or the Leoraj, or what was the name for their planet? Because it's Kalith now. Yeah, Kalith was the name of their planet. So that gives you the vibes of their names, and when Britain has worked on the previous languages, obviously the writers have sort of written names for like Xi'an systems and Banu systems, and he's kind of incorporated those sounds in as a starting point at least, and then they've sometimes gone back and tweaked the names, like Aelka, Erka was a small change. So I'm expecting like Eth. But the one thing that in Britain's writings that really tells you how Tavarin will sound is that it says that the Banu appear to have learned the word Tavarin from the humans rather than from the Tavarin, because if they had learned, because their word for Tavarin is like Tefarino, which is a lot like Tavarin, whereas if they'd learned it from the Tavarin themselves, they'd say Tefrin, which implies that they have like this more kind of like keening, probably more birdsong like way of speaking. Twom with toe, should be toe with the dots. Ooh, what have we done? Po. Poau. It's like that place over there, I think, or that idea. I do have a snack down here. If people don't mind me chewing, if this is really annoying, I have some Haribo, because kids and grown-ups do love it so. Chris, if you can translate kids and grown-ups love it so, then I'll be very happy. That's the British slogan. I'd really love... Right, I'm sorry, probably this chewing sound is not going to be good enough, is it? I'm aware of how loud it is in my own head. I'd really love if they used the forbidden parts of the IPA. So there are some sounds which the human mouth is predicted to be able to make, and you can kind of like sit there and go and like make them, but no known language uses them. So it's something that you can physically say, but nobody has ever had it in their language. Is that worth twice, or am I just... I going in circles again? Se, twom, uth, not ueth, uth, to, power, ueth, ki, kiao. Yeah, so there are forbidden parts of the IPA that humans can say, but that no human language uses. And there are parts of the IPA, sort of theoretical mouth space, that humans can't say because we don't have a flap of skin or flesh, whatever, that will form that sound. And I think there's a lot of fun in the idea of using those sounds that can't be made. There's a great Tom Scott video about it on YouTube, which I recommend. But it's it'd be very hard to get actors. I think that sometimes people criticise. Well, it can be a fair criticism of a conlang that it's too much like a real human language, and I don't really want to unpack that kettle of fish, or while I'm just nattering. But I think to a certain extent you have a benefit if you want someone to actually voice act something in choosing a a phonographic inventory, I think it's called, is the collection of all the sounds that your language includes. If you choose one that it comes from existing language, then you can find actors for whom they can like if you they base the sounds of Xi'an are based on Japanese and Chinese and like languages from that part of the world. So you can find actors who can very naturally pronounce those sounds even though they're speaking nonsense because it's similar to their original language, and that those will then, if you had an English speaker only trying to say them, they would sound unnatural, and that that's naturalness and unnaturalness with those sounds can be very effective. You can teach anyone to click with their voice, but if your language is built around clicks, then finding someone who speaks like good Xhosa will give them a performance which is going to sort of get that effect that you want, get the effect that you want in the audience you're aiming at. And yeah, that is based on using basically human behaviours that are unfamiliar to your audience. Isn't necessarily like great, but there's a benefit to sort of going, okay, I'm going to use all of the sounds from that language. I'm not going to make something which is like half Chinese and half Swahili because there isn't a voice actor in the world who's going to be able to do, well, you're going to be very hard to find a voice actor who can very naturally pronounce this sound, which is present in one language, as well as this sound, which is present in a completely different language. It would make a big challenge. So I think that's why you kind of, in designing a language for voice actors, you have to accept taking the whole sound set from a language, basing it around that, so that you can kind of functionally do that voice acting. I don't know. Okay, I made some mistakes. Where have I made mistakes? Again, I'm trying to keep a bit of an entertaining chat over this. And yeah, humans being humanoids is okay. I do think that you can. Maybe it's because I'm a biologist, so I've got opinions that are not reasonable, as in they're not going to matter to 90% of people because they're based not on like reasonable concerns, but on like, well, if you read this one theory from someone 50 years ago, this kind of ear shape is not sensible criticism. How did I get to K from that? It's clearly an A. What are you doing, Jail? this Stanton, after I said Stanton, I had Shoal Lay. Yeah, it says Shoal Lay. Right? Now I'm confused. What have I done there? That's a lay. Definitely lay. It's definitely shoal. Okay, well, lay is you. What's shoal? Home, yeah. Now I'm confused. It's your home, is it? Could it just be your home? No, because that's usually like it's not lay, it's le, because it's not a longy. Okay, let's break down this sentence while that searches. So, see, this is where it says you. That would be like the longy, which it isn't. The dictionary's never done particularly well with short words because it's searching across both the English and the Xi'an. I kind of feel like maybe this is a typo. Like, what's other words with show in them? Particularly, it's show followed by a rise, so it should. I'm just trying to get my mind around it. It's home. And it's not similarity. It's show you. It's certainly not soy sauce. I mean, I'm just going to go out on a bet here. I don't think that the Xi'an's primary fear here is that Xenothreat are coming for their soy sauce. They might be concerned that Xenothreat are going to cut off their soy sauce supply because they do like soy sauce. Bit of an exotic, bland condiment for them. Give me the blandest thing on the menu, but bland by their standards. Okay, if anyone's got an idea for that one, please do let me know. Unless I'm being completely stupid. Let's take that whole sentence. Let's drop it in. I already have. Yeah, Chris, if you got a better idea about what Cholet is supposed to be, if this is one of the spelling mistakes you found, then please, by all means, run. Let me know. Okay. Yeah, so that's not K, yeah, it's K. No, that's not lower. It's low A. It's within, I think. Was it Xiao Chen? Xiao Chen does say Xiao Chen. Again, pretty sure that says Chen. Yeah, Chen. Xiao Chen. That's Chen. Life. Home life. Okay. Okay, let's drop that back in. Oh, what was K? It's like that place, isn't it? That place over there. Yonder. Yeah. That place yonder. Way over the mountain. But okay. They come from the planetary system Pyro, which is connected to Stanton. think Cholet is going to be like their home. Yeah, it's going to be their home is. Their home is the planetary system of Pyro, which is connected to Stanton. And they cause danger. They are continuing to cause. They are causing danger towards. What was it? This idea. Xi'an is. Xi'an kind of feels like civilian. What's Po-Chen mean? Okay, so if Xi'an is so untranslatable to me, what does Po-Chen mean? Yeah, living. So Xi'an is like, what's like home living, I guess. A living home. Again, like the use of Nui, I wouldn't have used, or I wouldn't have thought that was the way to use it, because Nui has often been like for the benefit of, and again it's like Ning as against of. So let's break this down a bit. So they're causing danger towards all people. They're continuing to cause danger. Danger for all people is there, and then all the people who live or sort of like have their homes or or travel into that place. Yeah, so they're causing danger towards all people who live or travel to that place. Yeah, that's the first paragraph. Any questions after the first paragraph? Let's crack on then. Is Yochenka living? Yeah. So I can work it out eventually. Does it come up on this? Oh, there we go. I think it was the... Oh, I'd left out the ka, had I? Is that what? Xiaochen ka. Where is it? Have I done the whole paragraph? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong paragraph again. I was... okay, sorry, Chris has pointed out where I was confused. Xiaochen. Oh, yeah, it's... so the reason why it didn't come up is because it is in the dictionary as Xiaochen ka, and Xiaochen is not itself in there. So the ka has dropped out of the sentence, or it hasn't been put in the sentence in the first place. Oh, sorry, is the delay... I can't tell how bad the delay is, unfortunately. Yeah, so Chris has pointed out the thing that I was stuck on. I wonder if I should maybe like restart the stream now I've done the first paragraph. Also, I don't know what the delay is like on this now. I imagine the delay gets worse over time, right? Should crack on. You can tell me how bad the delay is. It's currently supposed to be. Let me get my clock up, and I'll tell you exactly what time it's supposed to be. You can fix the delay on the viewer side if you set the playback speed to 2x. Yeah, but I worry that there's maybe a different delay between me and YouTube. Try and get there you go. So that's the time currently. So you can tell me how far out your thing is. So it's 22 minutes and 15 at the moment. Okay. Halfway there. And this paragraph looks way more complicated. So I'll probably try to be a bit quicker and forge ahead. So, rather than try and natter, let's get going. Oh, it's only 15 seconds out. Okay, so it's not too bad. Okay. So, Reth, kicking off the paragraph with a pejorative. Love it. That's how I like to do it. Reth. So, yo. Wrong. Okay, so the delay's bad, but not that bad. Okay. I mean, free technology. What can you complain about? Heck yeah, it's that wage war again. And again, it's going to complain that I put these in the wrong place. Kia has weird dots and stuff. It is in weird places. I can never remember how to do it, and I'd rather get on with this and have Chris tell me it's wrong via his website. I'm done, which always is a fantastic tool. Let's go for Hume. Chris, how was? I saw that you were at. Was it the Belgian? The Belgian Citizen Con sort of fan con thing, which looks really good. Was there? Tell me if it was any good. Good turnout. Good thing. I was involved in the first Britism Con, which was like at Manchester Airport, so that we were close to a beacon. That was the one. I was like tangentially involved. I was sort of there in the room while they were planning it, and I didn't contribute anything at all. With like board gaming, because I used to run my own like little sort of bar system in Southampton, and board gamer is from around that area, so we'd come down. He's a you know, I really like board gamer. He's a really nice guy. I think the personality you see from him online, he's already a nice guy online. He's even nicer in person. He's a very caring person. He's a very interested person, and yeah, I really like the chap. I don't consume that much Star System media. I never did. I'm not consuming much media at the moment at all. I'm basically watching the biggest shows that are on, vegging out on the sofa after work. But I've never been one for watching like a lot of Star System YouTube content beyond ship reviews or like ship tours of ships that I don't have, and also I do enjoy watching. I really enjoy people who are kind of giving their expertise and then kind of through a Star System lens. The classic example being, Morphologist's wonderful stuff where he's using his expertise in architecture to talk about what he sees in the ships. And I actually really, really tried to develop my own little video series about that, which would have been about like using biology. It just felt a little bit more Statler and Waldorf. It sort of felt a little bit sort of I don't know. I didn't think it'd be that entertaining, and it was a lot of work, so I kind of stopped developing that. 63 names with calligraphy is pretty impressive. Sounds like you had a good time. I will watch the. I was just saying how much I don't watch YouTube. I will watch the. I will watch that interview. That sounds fun. Otherwise, it'd be rude if I didn't. Yeah, I must be one of the few people who's probably been in more Star Citizen YouTube videos than he's actually watched. I do really like Paul's content, particularly. I do like shorts. I find it just a bit harder to watch like really long videos. I think it doesn't help that like I actually watched loads of videos about. I never played Warhammer 40k, but I enjoyed like certain lore videos about Warhammer 40k because there's a silly setting and there's some very entertaining creators. But I guess the problem with content like that for Star Citizen is that because I'm so embedded in it, I don't have that sort of sense of like, oh, I'm learning something new. Maybe I get more annoying like, well, I wouldn't have said it like that, and maybe that's why I started up my own little channel, because I'm a pedant. Yeah, I only had a channel for my own fun. Again, I'm never going to learn how to make hack yet. It's one of those words that like, it's like the word restaurant. I'll never spend the word restaurant. Yeah, senior threat intend to attack all non-humans. To wage war on non-humans. I'm using the word wage war rather than attack, and I know that's. I'm taking a little bit of license with it there, but I think wage war is a nice way to put it. You could just take it as like attack, but I just think that sounds nice. Oh yeah, that's a pourwa, not a pourwo, and is that Sleuth? Is it? Sleuth? No, that might be this again. I think that is misspelled. There is a Y missing in the text. There we go. Yeah, it's this publication again. So yeah, there is actually yeah, thanks. Yeah, in the pejorative meaning, to do an attack is yeah, because they're not just attacking; they're attacking in a sort of like in a pejorative sense. So wage war, I guess, kind of does imply that element. It implies the sort of immorality, I think would be the right way to put it. To wage war kind of feels like you're the one at fault. They do this crazy thing without provocation. Yeah, they do this crazy thing with. They do this mad thing with the intent to yeah, you're right, Steffi. Like, it's not just yeah, translation is not just going like, I mean, it's certainly not going just word for word, because you can see what I've got on my screen. This is, as I say, Chris Harrow's excellent dictionary app has this sentence thing, and it will give you that word by word. If you look at that and the law team had talked about actually having sort of word for word translation as their auto translator. So it would come up with this essentially, which is maybe enough to get a vibe. Let's say exterminate. Yeah, let's call it exterminate. It just says to kill, but I'm going to make it exterminate because, again, pejorative. Let's make it more like vicious. Yeah, and if you get these word-to-word translations, yeah, that gets you one way there, and then once you've reformatted the grammar, you'll get another step there, and then I think taking it to that level of like translating the intent of the sentence, I don't think you'll never have it where like the writers will have written something and it will have been translated into Xi'an, and in translating it back you can make it sound like lovely English, but it won't be exactly the same because it's been through that lost in translation system twice. But I think that the meaning will be the same. If me popping Haribo is disgusting on the stream, please do let me know. I can't tell. I'm really hungry, so I'm just popping Haribo. If you can hear like lots of wet mouth noise, please do let me know, and I'll stop eating, or I'll take a break to eat. This is like a masterclass on how to use the pejorative sense. I think that actually last year was as well. I'm looking forward to the new ship. They haven't actually announced it yet, have they? Let me just go back to the main page. I wonder if they've announced the new ship yet. No. There was a sort of, not, well, as always, the web page has come out with, yeah, so someone's found the web page that isn't supposed to come out yet, and it was a ship called like the Yonghiao, which is like the point in space, which is, I don't know, it could be a, as I say, could be anything really, could be an explorer. But it sounds like we're getting another Xi'an ship. And, Daj, for me, Alien Week is every week. But yeah, they officially start Alien Week next week. Yeah, tomorrow. But it really starts on First Contact Day for me. And that was on Sunday. Yeah, if you haven't heard that, I don't want to spoil too much, but yeah, there was... somebody found a web page and it had something called a Yong. Yeah, is this news to people? I never know. I only know about it because Chris dropped it in the chat in the Xenolinguistics Discord, and I got a little bit. I got temporarily annoyed because I noticed that the thumbnail used someone's wallpaper, and they had used some writing that I made, but then I couldn't remember, because it was so long ago, if the person had asked if they could use my writing in their poster, like, do you mind if I put it in this? And I vaguely remembered saying to somebody, oh yeah, go ahead man, no worries. And then I was getting all indignant, I'm like, they've stolen my writing. And I was like, actually maybe I just let him use it, and besides, who really cares? You know, it's not like thousands of people were that worried about it. If you're the guy who made that wallpaper and used that writing, and I did say, I apologise if I'm implying that you did something wrong. If you did just take it without asking, don't do that. But I'll give the benefit of the doubt, I suppose. I can barely remember like what happened yesterday, so. San Ra, not Samurai. Some kind of spaceship. San Ra? Is that fighters? And we're like weapon ships. No, it says San Ra. It probably should say Samurai. Yeah. I was suspicious because I heard of a Samurai, just like the San Rai Len is. So the Rai Len is called the San Rai Len in Xi'an, which means the same thing. It means like the ship that is smooth cargo. It's another spelling mistake. It should be samurai, I believe. Unless if Ra is a word, then it would be like the ship that does this. But I would have thought it'd be in the dictionary. Oh, just some ships. Okay. Okay. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, just some indefinite ships. Okay. That makes sense. You can see I was going to look up the element some amount of ships. Say from another row. I'm getting bored of seeing all these pejoratives. Feels like I'm being yelled at. Humlai, again, non-humans. I suppose that would mean the word Xi'an means non-Xi'an. But I think they would usually just say aliens for that. Sansei. What's the Xi'an version of caps lock for yelling? It's kind of using the pejorative a lot. Using the pejorative is kind of the Xi'an version of caps lock. Using ha a lot. There isn't otherwise an emphatic tense. There's a laudative. There's also a tense for if you want to be really kind of like effusively positive about something, but they're not using it here. Oh, wrong window. There we go. Where have I got my mistakes this time? Oh yeah, one's just a spelling mistake. And after the first comma, it should be yeah, Roshui, not Roshai. Thanks, Fard. That's a nice thing to say. Very nice thing to say. Still spelling wrong. There we go. It definitely has a. Oh, okay. It's telling me that the closest word is Ro Shui. That I put in the dot and I shouldn't have put in the dot. Okay, that's fine. I was getting ahead of myself thinking it was like another pejorative. Non-conventional weapons. Oh, this is... Did I miss a word as well? There seems to be something missing from... in order to do... Well, in order to be directed, it does work, but am I missing a word? I just want to check. We were here. Ro... Liai... Sorry, Liai... With... Yeah. Liai, I think also involves like arrows. I think you can say like... I think the word arrow and like... you can have like lightning bolt, so directly. Yeah, arrows, alere, the thing that goes directly towards something. Yeah, is more to be directed, to be facing something. I think it's only something like we may do this with weapons, non-conventional weapons, or their or some of their ships. In order to focus on humans and the it's not or unless I'm mistyped something. Oh yeah, it's not Earth, it's Earth. And the ships of non-humans. Be careful flying your Rylen around Zenith West, I guess, or your Banu merchantmen. Probably good advice anyway. They are pirates. Seth, Mo, Yeth, A, boop, boop, boop. A Mwe, A, Yeth, hello, Viborg, 1978. That little, that be the flag of Viborg? I do like flags, unsurprisingly. I thought Viborg might be a place, but apparently not. Well, there are places called Viborg, but they don't have that flag, so, or at least as far as I can find. There's a Viborg in Kentucky, apparently. I did design some flags, like flag proposals for human places in Star System. So, Yath. That's Yath. Yeah. Nya Prime say see the threat. Just going to copy. See the threat. Do you guys know each other, Chris and Viborg? I don't know if I remember meeting someone called Viborg before. See the threat. Cross. Again, I feel like I've missed something, but it did just that's not it's not Seth, it's Reth. It's another pejorative. The flag is Franconia, part of the state of Bavaria. I've been to Bavaria. I went to I've not even been to Franconia. I think I remember eating Franconian sausage, but it was part of a whole plate of sausages. Yes, no, I haven't been to Franconia. I've been to I've been to only to Munich and then down to Lake Constance, down to the Bodensee. I a few years ago attended an event they hold there every year for sort of young scientists meet with Nobel Prize winners, and it was a lovely, lovely time. It was a lovely, lovely place. Again, I forgot that. Did they actually say? If you're enjoying watching me just translate this, I'm glad, because I imagine it's I'm just sort of fading in and out of concentration and chewing noises. I imagine half the fun for some people might be seeing if they can get there before I do. So it seems that many of the people of Xena Threat have knowledge of the methods of basically they understand military tactics. It seems that many of the people of Xena Threat have knowledge of military tactics. The history of military units going rogue is also quite interesting. So, in Star System lore, there was a story called Gift for Barber, which got published somewhat recently on the main site, but was published ages ago in the Jump Point magazine. And in that, they there's a Banu, and I think it was one of the first times they really discussed like a Banu character. But in that, they made reference to the Unification Wars. They're like, oh, it's the date of the Unification War, and it was this sort of throwaway comments to a war that happened on a certain year. It was sort of saying that there were the dates of this war were this, but there was no other further information. And Gifababa, which is actually the story about, which includes the names that are the moons of Crusader, of the characters from this children's story, is the children's story from where the names of those books. But what was I going to say? But yeah, it's basically the only place that mentioned the Unification Wars. And then the dates correspond to the date that the United Nations became the United Nations of Earth as like a government. So the United Nations General Congress had come together and said, sod nations, we're going to be like a we're now the nation. Everyone is now part of our nation. Nations will exist as states of us. Sort of like if the European Union suddenly declared that it was going to be like a federal state rather than a supranational entity. But then, basically, I don't know if it was in response to a few of us asking questions. Like a few of the lore people were like, "So what's the Unification Wars? Tell us about that. Got any more Unification Wars lore?" And so around the time when they actually then published, the Gif of Baba on the website, I think they felt that at that point they needed to flesh that out a bit more. And so the Unification Wars were when all the governments joined together. Some of the military units said, "We are not down for this," and it was an American ship, not America. America didn't exist at the time. It was the state. It was the sort of big sort of North American thing, which is kind of America plus. it's called like Amesicano or something like that. They mutinied, and other units joined them. And eventually, after 4 years of these kind of guerrilla wars, they all these kind of military units were sort of driven out into space. They weren't all destroyed. They became the first space gangs, and that's kind of the tradition, I think, that Xenocrat come from. They got these military things. They got military hardware. They got military tactics. They appear to be a mutinied military unit, and they appear to be pro-Mesa. They appear to be very pro-Mesa, and so it's possible that although it's been a couple hundred years, or 100 and something years, it's possible that they've actually they're either sort of neo-Messerites who got into the military and then mutinied and took their ships or whatever, or it could be that they're basically parts of the Mesa Empire that, when it fell, didn't want to be part of the New Order, essentially, or thought that we were the ones committing all the war crimes, so it's not a good place for us to be. So let's go off into the unknown regions, sort of First Order style from Star Wars, and make our own empire with blackjack and hookers, and forget the empire. And I don't know. I kind of think they are a little bit like that. Sorry about that. I was getting carried away there. In terms of getting like an auto translate, I think that there's a kind of there's some intent to maybe have a word for word translation, much like what I'm doing up here. It's ultimately not for all the alien language stuff sits within the writing team, and the writing team don't get to decide the gameplay. It could be that once they get to actually designing some alien stuff, the gameplay designers are like, oh no, thanks for making a language. We're going to put it on like a side screen, but everything's going to be auto translated. They can't promise that it won't be. But the fact is that it can be. It's a tool for them to tell the story and make the game. And if they want you to understand what an alien is saying, they will let you understand what the alien is saying by either translating it or having them speak English, or having someone there who's going to say, I know that means this. But if they don't want you to understand what the alien is saying, and they want some to just be shouting at you in unintelligible alien sounds that are then intelligible if you put in the effort, then that's what they're going to do. If they think that's going to make it more fun for someone to be shouting like a market trader in Banu, so that the sound design is exciting and exotic, when you can put in the time and know that that actually does mean something. It's not just like Simlish. Okay, let's break it down by the comma. So I'm just going to do the first part up to the comma. So it's something to do while you're piloting your ship. If you are approached by a strange vessel while flying your ship, do not respond to any signals or engage. Yeah, just general advice. It's interesting they use Mia there. So in an official context like this, Noth is usually in conversation. Noth is this word which, if you put it after the verb, it says, "I suggest you do this." So like, I suggest you go over there. Oh, north, why? Poi. Gonna go, something like that. If you put it on a sign, it's saying, I suggest it, but I'm not really suggesting it. We suggest you don't smoke. We suggest you don't run. We're actually saying, don't smoke, don't run. And oh noth here would kind of mean that, whereas this is saying, oh yeah, like, do not do this. Do not respond. This is like big warning, like, don't do this. Or engage, where was I? Xena threat, keep losing my place, I kind of need to, that was up to, oh sorry, yeah, it was there I am. Okay. Omias. So we just saying something about protecting. Yeah, it's just Om Ya Sao Misha Seng. So it's a command to do something towards something. Xiao Seng, not Xia Seng. So again, that's going to be so homes, shelter. Yeah, Seng is to do with protection, shielding. Yeah, flee towards shelter. Flee towards shelter. And that again is a command, is Omya. You will do this if you want to live. Koeo. Koeo. Oh, there's a lot of very short sentences there. I was just thinking about, like, do I consider this to be harder or easier than the previous ones? And I'd say it's probably oh sorry, I've taken it as a full stop, but it was not a full stop yet. It was this is actually it wasn't a full stop. It was just an that can't be Huo then. Is it Huao? What am I doing? Yeah, it's not Huo, it's Huao, isn't it? It's Huao. It's not Huao either. Wait. You can tell that my tiredness is now setting in, that I am flagging. I've worked about 50 hours so far this week, and it is taking its toll on my brain. Yeah, I forgot my place again. Okay, yeah. Why can't I find the symbols I want? Why can't they just, you know, live in my brain and never come out, and I wouldn't have to refer back to a document? I could just know it all off by heart. Yeah, fly towards the closest shelter. Yeah, the nearest shelter. Yeah, the shelter of nearby in the mostest means the most nearby. Hey, Paul. Thanks for coming. It is not a declaration of war. It is a public service announcement. These xenothreat people, they're not very nice. They're not the nicest people, and between you and me, I think some of them might have been part of the military. You know, don't tell anyone. It's a secret. Okay, Kui is Kwai. So it's another passive voice one. Kwai Su Chi Lai Yes Shai It's a weird word. Shy. Yeah, Paul, if you haven't met Chris Harrow, I imagine you have met Chris Harrow. I think you'd enjoy. Have you been on, Chris? Have you been on Captain's Table before? Because I think that you would be an excellent guest for that. Yes. Yes, shy, yay. Senpa. Good. I'm glad you know each other already. I like bringing people together, but if they've already met each other, that's even better. I brought a group of people together earlier this week. I set them together on a task at work, part of my team, and they all gave each other COVID, or all of them ended up with COVID, and I can't help thinking they got it from each other, and I kind of feel a little bit like it's because I brought them together. Again, that's a weird word. Why is it doing that? So I'm looking at this character here. And it's nya, yo, we. But it's a really weird we. It's not a we, is it? It's something else. It's a way. Sorry, way, not we. Way. And oh no, it's not weird. I'm just being weird. I consider it weird because it's got everything crammed into that one side and doesn't have anything there, whereas like Woa has it split across both. I'm just kind of getting to the point where I'm not functioning anymore. Anyam. Qua to yang. Oh yeah. Hello, Roshoff. Yain. Yes, Yain. How much have I got left? I'm up to... I was about to point at my own screen. So this is in the second paragraph, so we've got all the first paragraph. I'll give you a recap once I get to the end of this paragraph. And I'm in, I think, if it's not the last sentence, it's the penultimate sentence of the first paragraph of the second section. The home stretch. I am also relying heavily on Chris's tools, so I'm not performing very well when it comes to the exact placement of all the spellings, and some of the, I keep getting letters wrong as well, because I'm trying to sort of give a bit of a banter as I go along, and so I've been giving some law talk and other things while I'm typing alien language. It kind of feels like I'm doing Rubik's keyboard juggling, and as a result I'm making mistakes, and I'm relying on, you could call it cheating, like if anybody's watching this and watching what I'm doing with Chris's translation tools, is probably thinking, well, yeah, of course you can translate it like that, come on. It does a dictionary lookup for every word, and I'm bad at vocabulary. I'm not good at vocabulary, so Bible, this is the best translation app you're gonna get. You just gotta learn a bit of grammar. You'll be all right. Yeah, so I got 2 mistakes in that one. Oh, I made it even worse. There we go. And there's one more sentence in this section. I'll give you a recap of what we got so far. Oh, there's a lot of prefixes here, or what are called infixes. There's a lot of, after the verb, you get these verb clarifying participles, VCPs, and there are 4 of them here. So the verb is like yeth, or the verb is it's yeth. Someone is aware. It's kwai su chi lai. So we've got passive, so be aware. Sometimes being aware. Certain. It has not been certain. Such a long sentence. I'm trying to break this down a bit. I'm trying to break down the sentence in front of me. There's a lot of parts to this sentence. I don't think that sen's right there. That the named bit in the middle, Xi'an, doesn't seem right. Doesn't seem like there should be something about names in the middle of this sentence. So I'm going to go back and have a look at where I picked that one up from. It's there. It is it. Yeah, I said sen. It should be Seth. I was getting confused because I was saying like, what I do when I see these lists of words, which is just the word for word translation of, well, the word for word lookup of what's in there, is I sort of look at those and I'm just trying to get like a sense of what the sentence is about, and that sense should involve every word. So I was like, names was named. It was Seth. I picked up the wrong letter in my mind. Oh yeah, they have a vastly different sentence structure. So if I go back to say there's a really simple sentence right here, which is O mia sao nui yosen goeo uhua, and that is a really simple sentence. Just flee towards the nearest shelter. What it actually says is do. This is a command. Flee towards shelter of nearest in the most. So the verb is kind of actually om yasao. It is you must do. Nuyos chioseng, and it's like you must do fleeing towards shelter, and then the description of that shelter is koeo uhua, which is the closest in the mostest. So it's a very different sentence structure. It's verb, subject, object as well. So you can see why just doing a word-for-word translation doesn't get you anywhere near a meaning. Like, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, gosh, I can't even like pass what this is supposed to be about just by looking at this. So I'm having to go back to the it's actually in some sense easier to go back to the it's easier to go back to the Xi'an, essentially. This is there's been a lot of pejorative Xi'an in this. There's been a lot of like, these fucking bastards keep attacking us. It's not like low in the sense of if it was in the military dialect, then it would be more like casual or more sort of get your gun kind of thing. Like, but this is more like official and formal and damning would be the right way to put it. I think it's talking about not understanding. I think it's talking about how they don't understand or don't why Xenothreat hate them. Yeah, so Paul, this is the framing device is this is that it is a public service announcement. This is your let me do a recap. I'm having trouble with this sentence. Let me mull on it a bit. Let's do a recap. What's it? A warning for the people of the Xi'an Empire regarding the human terrorist organisation Xenothreat. This presentation is an ordinary update about crimes, terrorist savagery, or political violence occurring beyond the Xi'an Empire, including information regarding domestic hidden threats. All Xi'an houses are advised to be extremely vigilant. You must be made aware that the Xenothreat humans are continuing to be violent in an increasingly bold way within the planetary systems named Stanton and Pyro in the human territory. This group resembles an important Xi'an criminal line that is large and powerful. It's saying it's like, this is like one of our really big games. They've been delayed by again continuing to battle with human fighters, but this has failed to decimate this dangerous group. Even though Xenothreat talk about how they intend to wage cruel and unprovoked war. Their home is the planetary system of Pyro, which is connected to Stanton, and they're causing danger to all people who live in or travel to that place. Xenothreat intend to wage war on non-humans. They do this insane thing without provocation in order to exterminate. They may do this with weapons, non-conventional weapons, or some of their ships, in order to focus on non-humans and the ships of non-humans. They're not really happy with that translation, but it's something along those lines. It seems that many of the people in Xenothreat have knowledge of military tactics. If you are approached by a strange vessel while flying your ship, do not respond to any unknown hailing signals or engage. Fly towards the nearest shelter. I'm going to make a stab at this. I need to get to the point. Otherwise, we're just sitting here like looking at a big string of words. It's saying something about it's not been. It's not been to certainly determine how extent of crossing power grow. These violent sentiments against people between these have developed within this group. I don't think that's correct. I don't think that is actually an exact translation. I think that's the kind of thing it's going for. I think I'm maybe too sleepy to work out exactly what it's saying, and I don't want you just to watch me sit here and stare at this screen for an hour. I always have at least one sentence where I'm just like, I don't know, I'm going to take a stab at it, and I'll see what they actually say later. Eli. Eli was the... Eli. Like, do not. Oh, maybe it's actually saying, like... it might actually be saying, like... I'll put it in text. It's certain that you shouldn't... This is just another idea. I'm not sure. Try to... Yeah, I agree with you, Moon Moon. I think that there's this sort of underlying thing of, like, even though these guys are saying, hey, we hate aliens, we want to come and kill aliens, they're like, it's implied that the UE are sort of... They're kind of saying, yeah, the UE still isn't doing anything about these really obvious, bloody, awful people. That one's got me messed up. Something like that. Okay. Su channel Iwase Krei, the Imperial House. It's the House of the Empire, and thus also the main military would be under them. Troll with Uth Xi'an and Atha. Oh, see the threat. No, not see the threat. See, yeah. Share. Ooh, see ya. Where? Where did I go wrong this time? I didn't put a Talongo. Is it Xi'an? Yeah, so it's Xi'an there, not Xi'an there. Athia? Atha. That is Atha. Is it that? Did that make it work? I got the cray in the wrong place there. Some House Cray is continuing to track the status and so House Cray was, before becoming the Imperial House, was like the main intelligence gathering house. They were like spies and stuff, and I guess this implies that they are either still in that business or that is a function of the state anyway. So in other words, you would have said that before House Show would be tracking them, even though the people actually doing the work would be House Cray in that back then. Situation and need if so, need to be updated. basically, we're keeping tabs on this. If you know anything, give us a shout. Let us know, because we are concerned about this. Oh no! So this is an instruction. Yeah, Paul. The Kray's the Imperial House. So as I was saying, like House Kray is keeping track of it. It's not clear to me, or it's not clear in terms of how the Imperial House and intelligence gathering function. Whether that's House Kray are keeping track of it in their capacity as the Imperial House, or if parts of House Kray are keeping track of it in their capacity, their previous capacity of being the house that spies on people and being the intelligence house, being the CIA house. It might be that function is still being carried out by House Kray in the same way it was when they weren't the Imperial House, because they were the spy house. They were the house of spies, as you know. Just saying for the benefit of people who might not know what House Kray were up to before they took over. We know a few other house functions. Of course, there's House Poa and House Gautak with their ships. I wonder if the new ship coming. I imagine it's going to be Gautak. Like, I don't think that they're going to launch a. Yeah, I definitely think it's. Yeah, sorry. I definitely think it's to the point where the Xi'an government's involved. I think this is like a Xi'an government bulletin that is saying. The equivalent would be the UE saying, "Watch out for this gang in Xi'an space. The advocacy is watching. Please report to the advocacy." It's kind of the equivalent. The only point I was raising of like confusion there was House Kray were the advocacy for House Show. I think it was House Show, the house before House Kray. They were the advocacy, and today, are they the advocacy, or did some other house get that job, like a cadet branch maybe? Are we saying House Kray to mean as like a byword for the government, a doc for the government, or are we saying House Kray? This is a travel advisory. It's exactly what it is. Wheateth. Ooh. Yeah. A. Shay. Me. So this is going to be a suggestion. That's a don't know where the O came from. Where did I put an O in there? There's no O. Yeah, this is like the travel advisory that the government tell you about going to Mogadishu. So it's recommended to travel in these planetary systems in a group, and then coming together. Basically, it's recommended that if you're going to go, don't go in alone. It's recommended that travel in these systems is only done in groups. And this is quite interesting. They're saying this about Stanton. They're not saying it about Pyro. They are saying about Pyro. Obviously, they're saying, "Oh, Pyro is dangerous. Don't go in that place. It's dangerous." But they're saying that Stanton is the same. They're kind of saying like they're treating Stanton as dangerous as Pyro. Now, Xi'an are cautious, so it's not unreasonable. But they also made the statement that they were considering Pyro to be human territory, human responsibility, because they said that both Stanton and Pyro were in human territory. They didn't say that they were in the UEE, but they were saying that they kind of consider Pyro to be territory of the humans. So, yeah, I think that's an interesting perspective. So, oh, North, why? Ooh. Yeah, like, yeah, really embarrassing. Like diplomatic incident level of embarrassing. This is like saying, this is like holding, it's kind of like saying, hey, Yemen, what are you gonna, we're holding you responsible for all these Somali pirates, and we think that your people are responsible for not protecting. It's kind of passive aggressive as well. Yeah, it is throwing shade. It's passive aggressive. It's saying, it's not a letter to it's not a letter to the Xi'an, to the humans. It's a letter to the Xi'an, warning them about how crappy it is to be in these particular places in the UEE. Yeah, so you are. Something about your house, the people of your house. It's going to be something like, make sure you're travelling with the people from your house. God, I can't even spell Y tonight. To go, yeah, own. It's like, look after yourselves, kind of thing. It is recommended that you the people of your house go sharingly, basically. What are they saying? It is recommended that the people of your line collaborate with just go together. Together. Oh, North. It's all full of suggestions, and these suggestions are not really suggestions. They are like, thank you for not smoking kind of suggestions. They are. It's very clear from this. I mean, there were a few times when they used like a clear command. They said, you should not do this. You should not do this. But there have also been a couple of times here where they're using this suggestional, but they're not using it suggestionally. Yeah, and that's kind of significant in itself. Unless I'm over-interpreting how much that is a loose one. I sometimes joke about Xi'an coming into Stanton. There's a place called Oparai on Hurston, and I kind of like to think that Xi'an get lost there a lot, because Oparai means I have carried, or to have carried. Yeah, it has been carried, kind of thing. It's not a complete sentence, so it's not completely translatable. But Rai is in the word cargo, so it's kind of saying, yeah, I can imagine like a confused Xi'an hauler like parking up there, going like, "This is the delivery point, right? It's called like cargo was delivered." Yeah, your Xi'an's really bad, but yeah, it kind of sounds a bit like Xi'an. It's been confirmed it's not named that because of it's been confirmed to not be a Xi'an word. It's a, I don't know why it's called Oparai. Oh, did I get the car? Yeah. Yeah, no, I got the letters right. Let's see if I can. Let's take out all these things. I think the idea of ArtCop as being like a factory world is actually more of a human perspective. It was it said in the Galactic Guide that ArtCorp's the closest that humans have come to a factory world. How do you with that Kaiya? What's going on with that? It's not Kaiya. That's a K. That's an A. That's a drop. That's a place. So Ka is a place. Yeah, so this thing of ArtCorp equals factory world is I think, unless there's a quote I'm missing, I think it gets taken a little bit past what is actually said. What is actually said is that ArtCorp is the most similar to a Xi'an factory world. I know it says that somewhere. And then people take that to mean it was based on it, or it used the technology of it. It's like, I don't think it actually says that. It could be true. And I don't know if the Xi'an have made that comparison themselves. That might be like, you know, it's like, but they call Birmingham the Venice of the Midlands, and that comparison might not be shared by Venetians. I'm getting confused by this Iya thing. I'm confused here. Iya. So a car, so it's a place. No, a little bit stumped by that one. Looks like it's about a place. Okay, it's recommended that you keep track of any extraordinary. You keep extreme vigilance towards any yeah, it's recommended that you keep extreme vigilance towards any status coming out of that place. I think this might be misspelled. It should be something from unless I'm mistaken. No, let's go to. Unless I'm mistaken, it's just sort of saying that place. Kia, yeah, it was Kia. Then just yeah. Okay. It is recommended to maintain extreme vigilance towards any people in that place while travelling alone. Yeah, you're not wrong. It's like probably the same, but I think maybe from the Xi'an perspective, they would not be so impressed with ArtCorp. Well, I mean, I think that they might view it as like, you think that's like one of our factory worlds? Our factory worlds are nice. They might think that it's not as good as one of their factory worlds, is what I'm saying. So I was up to a Yoso. There it is. Oh. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Qua A. A. 2 A's. A. G. Xiao. Nui. Ne. Tangwei or Tangwei. Oh, Tangwei is please, or Kwai Tangwei, pleased, but then it's Kwai, which is passive. Yo. Is it going to be a desirable outcome here? Yo. Yeah. Ni nui. Chao. Pu. Chao Pu. It's a name here. Chao Pu. Ao. Sao. Chao Pu Ao Sao. Chao Pu Ao Sao. That's a new word for me. So it's a name as some description. Something to do with a territory or an empire or a country. Al means external. Pu means good. Might be a new word, might just be one I'm unfamiliar with. Oh, missed the long U. Got the dot in the wrong place for that one. Kiao. What does it say? Was there a dot there? Kiao, okay. I'm just confused if I've missed a letter or something. Okay. Well, either I missed it or it's a spelling mistake. Oh yes, oh no, this is a new word for me. The imperial consulate or embassy on a world outside the Xi'an Empire. If you're feeling that you're in danger, then yeah, if you're feeling that there's danger to you, then ask for send a message asking for help from the imperial consulate. So that implies that there is a imperial consulate somewhere around there. At least it's probably on Terra. Like there's almost definitely a Chao Pu Ao Sao on Terra. There would definitely be one on Earth, obviously. Might there be an office on ArcCorp? I would imagine there to be a Chao Pu Ao Sao on ArcCorp. If you feel that you are, if danger towards you, then message to the Xi'an consulate requesting assistance. Then please send a message to the Xi'an. Oh, have I got something wrong? Was it A in the Grand Crown? Oh, I thought it was O. Oh, sorry. Where have I got that wrong? Yeah, it should be A. Yeah, you're right. No, from context, it should be A anyway. Like, yeah, probably just typed it wrong. And please send a message. Yeah, it doesn't say request. Yeah, but please send a message to the Xi'an consul. So, new words. Okay. Noth. Again, we're back to the Noths. We went through a spate of it being pejoratives, and now we're going through a spate of it being all suggestions. I think that this one is probably the out of the three long form Xi'an letters we've got the letter from Master Tao. Master Tai. We've got the letter from the archives of House Shou. Sorry, the letters of the archives of House Gatak, and we have this. I would say that this is the least complex in the language of it. Like, this would be, if you were going to try to translate one from scratch, this would be the easiest one to start with, I think. Then the one from Master Tai, and then the one from last year. Or maybe Master Tai's harder, I'm not sure. But I think this is the one which has the least difficult grammar. Up to Weeteth, Patrick System, Sanwa, not Sans, just Xi'an. Xiao, Unya, a Shay, meeting. Shay, as in Sheselen, is a meeting. Where's that? Unya, yeah. So Shay, me. So it's going to be something about suggesting that you're meeting up in that system. Oh, it's Shay with a long E. Have I started? I think I started copying down the same thing as I had before. Yeah. Why didn't someone stop me? I've just sort of copied down the same sentence I'd already copied down before, because I'd for some reason decided to start. Yeah, I just did this sentence again. My brain is gone. I've got up to Chow Po Al Sal, which is there. I haven't even finished the sentence. So A. Oh, this is going to answer my question then, isn't it? I said, is it the consulate? This is going to tell me where the consulate is. Where do you think the consulate is that's closest to that's closest to Stanton? R Corp. There is a Xi'an consulate on Corp. There we go. So I keep accidentally misreading the air as a full stop because I'm tired. With Osu, if they put a Xi'an consulate actually in like area, you know, like a visitable one in that you could land and go to in Arkle, I would be very happy. I would think that would be a lovely way to sort of introduce the Xi'an into the world a bit more, so that you can actually see an environment that involves them. This would also be a lovely way to announce their arrival, essentially. Yeah, the embassy on ArcCorp, who will assist you. Yeah, that like, I know I'm getting ridiculous here. So, they have worked on the Xi'an character model a lot, like to the point where it's rigged and so forth. So it's not inconceivable that they'll drop a Xi'an character on us at some point. Yeah, there's Xi'an in Squadrons. This is why they have them animated, because there is a Xi'an captain in Squadron 42. That is public knowledge because it's on IMDb. And also it suggests that Sato Khan might be a Xi'an as well. Though it's not a particularly Xi'an sounding name. Maybe it is from his world. Which is played by Harry Treadaway. Now, that's speculation, but it's not unreasonable speculation. This is again this weird Iowan. It's weird because it's vowel, it's vowel consonant, non-standard spellings. So I'm going to move this back over here again, so you can see the less translation. Thlay, up to here. Thlang a Chang. Kung. It's a kind of weird word, Chang Gong. Yeah, as I was saying, sorry, seeing as they have the Xi'an character model done, they could, drop a. They could keep it under wraps. They could drop one in the world. It'd be really cute if they open up there was a door that now opened in ArcCorp, and it was the Xi'an consulate, and there was a Xi'an behind a desk there, and a nice poster saying "Welcome to the Xi'an consulate." Please don't drink from the water fountains. Sorry, I couldn't help the disgusting Xi'an bathroom joke there. See a threat. Interesting that they in this maybe it's not interesting, maybe it's an oversight, but throughout where they've said Xena threat, they've used this letter for the threat, which is the rare form. See, it says that. Rather than the more common form, this one, which is used in the word proper and good. There's one place where they use it here. I think that was probably just an oversight. As I was discussing previously, I think that they might be avoiding using the symbol which they use in words, which is used in words which are always positive, and they're always sort of not wanting to use that letter when they're spelling out Xena threat because it'd be improper. Kind of like. If a terrorist group was using the colours of the American flag, you wouldn't necessarily show their logo in colour, because it's I don't necessarily want it to be associated with the things that I like. So yeah, in trying to distance themselves, I just think that's a nice idea of how they might be viewing. They might be deliberately spelling the word in a way which is itself indicative of what they think of them. gone. I was typing in a way which had my hand in the wrong position. Stanton, Arthur, O, Kwai, Tangwei. Another please. Tangwei. Back up to the top. Yo. Why? Wow. Why, Al? Why? Hui. Teth. Ooh. Teth. Ooh. Yao. T. Wing. Shay? Wing Sha? Oh, that's interesting. Wing Sha. Sha, with a capitalized thing, means nanosecond, and is used in words which relate to. It's used in words that relate to, like, hyperspace kind of thing, like they call, like, jump drives, nanosecond drives, and so I wonder if that's what's going on here. Magnus. Swing Sha in Magnus. I think that means the jump point. Yeah, I think Queen Sha is jump point, if I remember correctly. So Magnus, the Magnus jump point, the jump point to the Magnus system. That's what it's referring to. Wing Sha e Magnus, the jump point to the Magnus system. Ciao. Terra. Yeah. Yeah, Magnus or Terra. It's going to be something like if you run into Xenethreat while in Stanton, you should go towards the jump points for Magnus or Terra. Something like that. If you detect like a military invasion by Xenethreat into Stanton. A lot of this is just, again, getting my apostrophes in the wrong place because I'm not paying enough attention. Was it? Oh yeah, there's only one. Sha. Oh, I made that one word. There we go. Keep doubling up my eyes when I don't mean to, as well. I thought it was Wing Sha. I thought it said Wing Sha. Oh. Wing Sha. Pretty sure it's jump point. I mean, yeah, Wing Sha. Wing Sha. Huh, weird. It's not coming up in the search app, but I know where it was anyway. Yeah. If it is that a new coordinated invasion against Stanton, do ask for what? Please leave the system quickly through the jump points to the Magnuson. Is that as quickly as you can? Yeah, Lethal Yao, as quickly as you can through the Magnuson Terror jump points. I haven't got any chat come up in a while. Is everyone dead out there, or is my... Appreciate that watching me sleepily translate some Xi'an is probably not the most exciting and engaging thing, but thank you so much for watching anyway. I do really appreciate it. It's very nice to know that people are enjoying something I enjoy, sharing that enjoyment. Oh, North. Yai. Nya a. Oh. Yao. Lai Sao. Still alive, thank you very much. I was so much more engaging with the audience earlier. We were chatting, I was doing lore while I typed. Now my body's just starting to shut down. I just got to that point of tiredness where I'm going to turn around, put my head on a bed, and I'll just fall asleep like a toddler. Xi'an, Wei, Ko, Hua, with North, Xi'an, something like that. It's going to be like that, I think. This is a long message. This is a long message. I'm right at the end now. I'm just here. I'm just here. I'm near the end. Oh, put them in capitals if they're the verb a, because otherwise it gets confusing later. Chi, San. Oh, yeah. Full stop. And that last bit, I'm just show that there. San. San. Yeah. That is end of transmission. It's going to be suggest that Xi'an people don't try and fight them, something like that. Gisa, where did I forget Gisa from? Gisa. Okay, well if I take off the Gi, what do I get? What's this one? Yeah, friendly. Yeah, it's just essence of friendly. Okay. Don't know why that one's not come up. And this Hua, Koeiru, Shiwei. What letter have I got it wrong there? So it's Hua. It's not Hua. It's Hua with a long A. Okay. So friendliness. The Oa later on, just before the verb, Oa, somewhere around that's OI. Okay. Oh, and I put next. So put I in there. Okay, how close is that going to be to it? I'm confused by this one. That's an O, that's an A, that's an I. Yeah, OIE. Until. Okay. What did I put? Okay. Alright, alright. Last sentence. So that's like friendliness. It's a recommended search for somebody. Not search people who cannot flee towards a friendly place. It is recommended that people who cannot flee to a friendly location so I'm just breaking down the sentence. So Goth guy, it is recommended, and then it's nya e or yao lai. That means that people who are not able to do something are recommended. People who are not able to flee towards a place that is friendly can the Xi'an it's basically saying if until the war finishes. Basically, I think that's saying it's recommended that if you can't get away, find the nearest Xi'an, like hang out together until the fight finishes. That's my best attempt. So, to recap from the top, and I'm quite curious to then see what other people got. So, a warning for the people of the Xi'an Empire regarding the human terrorist organisation. Can't get spelled out right. Regarding the human terrorist organisation, Xenothreat. This presentation is an ordinary update about crimes, terrorist savagery, or political violence occurring beyond the Xi'an Empire, including information regarding domestic hidden threats. Like, this is your regular bulletin. All lines are advised to be extremely vigilant. You must be made aware that the Xenothreat humans are continuing to be violent in an increasingly bold way within the planetary systems named Stanto and Pyron in the human territory. This group resembles an important Xi'an criminal line that is large and powerful. They have been delayed by again continuing to battle with human fighters, but this has failed to make a good skeleton out of the group that causes danger. It failed to decimate this dangerous group, even though Xenothreat talk about how they want to wage cruel and unprovoked war. Their home is the planetary system Pyro, which is connected to Stanton, and they're causing danger to all people who live or travel to that place. Xenothreat intend to wage war on non-humans. They do this insane thing without provocation in order to exterminate. They may do this with weapons, non-conventional weapons, or some of their ships in order to focus on non-humans and the ships of non-humans. It seems that many of the people of the Xenothreat have knowledge of military tactics. If you are approached by a strange vessel while flying a ship, do not respond to any unknown home signals or engage. Flee towards the nearest shelter. It has not been... This is the one which I really didn't like. It has not been possible to certainly determine how these violent sentiments against our people between these humans have developed within this group. It's not even good English. I wasn't happy with that. Maybe it might have been that sentence was saying, like, oh, yeah, definitely don't try and negotiate with them. House Grey are continuing to keep track of the situation, and if so, need to be updated. It is recommended that travel in the systems are owned down groups. It's recommended that people who be lying go together. It's recommended to maintain extreme vigilance towards any people in that place while travelling alone. If you feel there is a danger towards you, then please send a message to the Xi'an consulate on Arcop, who will assist you. If it happens that Xenothreat begins to conduct a new coordinated adventure against Stanton, please leave the system as quickly as you can through the Magnus or Terra jump points. It is recommended that people who cannot flee to a friendly location wait patiently with the nearest Xi'an people until the war finishes. End of transmission. Right. Let's go to the forums and see what someone else said. It's mostly just jokes, and people like, why would you come all the way into the Xi'an language thing to sort of say, why would you care about Xi'an language? I can see where Bryce was going with skills. So that's from the Yao, but it's just saying if you're able to. As quickly as you're able to. Yeah. So yeah, Sanya isn't all. I don't think it's a word. I think it's just end of transmission. San is like. Let's see what it's. Immature phonetics. Maybe. Yeah, I think Lynn's did a really good. This is so this is his interpretations from. Yeah, I think he did a good job. And there. I'm particularly curious about the sentence which I struggled with. This one. It has not been possible to determine how it's violent sentiments. That one was from the like, can I find this word in here? Let's see what other people made of this particular sentence. If anyone else has got some thoughts about this sentence, I'm interested to know it. There's also, I remember seeing some people talking about this here. Hey, look, that's me. Let's look at what Chris got, if you don't mind me looking. Oh, it's the Okay, so that's the SRX. Would be no fun for me to not just read it. Let's see what we got in this. This is the thing that I like. I really love people coming together to try to translate. Particularly like. Bang. Let's have a look at what's. Yeah, I think it looks like they struggle on the same part as me, TBC. There's a challenge in there. No knowledge of Wraith developing fans to oppose our people amongst the humans. Wraith. I don't know where Wraith came from. Nick, I've already done the translation. You have to go back. No, yeah, I think everyone struggled on the same sentence that I was struggling on, which was this 14th sentence of yes, no knowledge of Wraith developing plans to oppose our people from amongst the humans. Where's Wraith coming from? Is that in the Xi'an? Not sure where Wraith is coming from. Anyway, I think I'm satisfied with my translation. I'm really grateful for people coming along to have a little watch, and really, really grateful for people who participated in the chat. Hope that my very sleepy attempt wasn't too annoying to watch at points. Yeah, I think I'm really glad that I didn't do this the day that it came out, because I really enjoy the fact that other people have already kind of like broken the back of it and got a lot of enjoyment out of working on it. As I said before, I think that like going too quickly into it last year meant that other people didn't have that fun, and I'm glad that they were able to this time. So I think I'll definitely try to not jump on a new translation too quickly, so that other people can enjoy it before me, because I'm still going to enjoy translating it no matter how many people have translated it. Other than that, thanks very much for your time. Hey, Infinite Jails. Thanks very much for listening. Thanks very much for coming to hang out. This video will be there for anyone to watch. So, Arthur Lakel, see you in the verse. End the stream there. If I can find my stop button. I'm gonna find that.